Welcome to the Bible Forum. I'm Warren Sprouse. I want to talk to you about survival. Walt Heyer is a transgender surgery survivor. What he says is that not everybody gets a second chance at life. When Walt did, he only wanted to do one thing, and that was to free others. He traced back the painful parts of his life, the surgeries, the hurt, the anger, the abuse, and he started writing. In a world where activists are fighting to castrate and mutilate children, he realized that staying quiet was no longer an option. So he went public, pleading with society to understand the harm in gender change. Quote, not because I was a psychiatrist, college professor, or some extraordinarily brilliant guy, end of quote. He admits, just simply because of living it. He knows what it's like to look in the mirror with the horror and regret so many victims feel. Walt lived 8 years as a woman, trying, as he said, my best to make it work. But after surgery, I still had gender dysphoria. Even worse, I was suicidal. His fresh start began to crumble. Emotionally, he said, I was a mess. But with the grit and determination, love and support of several families and counselors, I pursued healing on a psychological level. He went back to the emotional trauma of his childhood and found peace. Finally, he made a decision. He would go through the long and harrowing process of de-transitioning. Walt started connecting with other victims. He said having a front row seat to people's pain made him even more determined to expose what goes on in the gender change industry. Several people, he said, transitioned in their teens, but when they hit their 20s, the feelings of gender dysphoria changed. They grew out of it, but only after having made irreversible changes to their bodies, which destroyed their ability to have children, and losing years of their life to an alternate identity. He says, you will hear the media say, regret is rare. But they're not reading my inbox, which is full of messages from transgender individuals who want their life and their body back. Walt urged South Dakota legislators to support a bill that would protect children from the trans life, at least until they're 16. Children, he insisted, don't have the capacity or mental maturity to consent to decisions with lifelong consequences. And yet they are so easy to manipulate that they have become soft targets in today's raging political and cultural fight over what it means to be human. I would add it's now parents who are doing it to 4 and 5, 6, 8-year-olds. Walt says surely no one would object to waiting until a person has the capacity to understand the risks and consequences to give informed consent. This is particularly important given what we know about the changing nature of gender dysphoria in children. When children experience sex confusion, it usually doesn't last. No child should be locked into a trans life, he argued. That is not medical care. That's child abuse. But the South Dakota Senate refuses to stop. Monday, against all research, testimony, and common sense, 5 legislators in committee voted to kill a measure that would give teenagers and their families more time to weigh a decision that could destroy them forever. And the governor, a woman, Kristi Noem, a Republican, a mother of 3, apparently doesn't see the harm in that. After the measure passed the House, leaders said the governor started working behind the scenes to oppose it. If the reports are true and our conversations with legislators suggest they are, they said, our efforts paid off. Despite having the committee majority, Republicans voted 5-2 to sink the only hope South Dakota parents had. Now keep in mind, it appears by this article that the state Senate can vote for something and a bipartisan committee can throw it out after that vote. Governor Noem could not apparently muster the courage to stand with other moms in protecting children from an agenda that would scar them for life. Instead, she's leaving parents right where they started, haunted and hunted by a movement they can't stop. This, according to the Family Research Council. This is a horrendous situation, any way you look at it. There is no winning here on any level. When will we start? When will we start listening and stop this mess? God only knows.